Yes, finally. Someone that knows what's going on around here. Not like Misha. Anyway.
What can you tell? You've gone back really to like the core of the show. The kid killed Mary, and now you're bringing her back. How does that change the dynamics, not only with the show as a whole, but with the brothers, with each other, and with her?
I don't think it changes the dynamics of the show as a whole, because I think the show's always been about family. And the show's always about Sam and Dean. I think the dynamics with the brothers, I think there's the initial kind of shock, oh my God, Mom is back, what does this mean for us? But I think once that wears off, I think as they get to know Mary more as a person, and as Mary herself goes through kind of what I think is a pretty interesting journey in terms of coming back into this world where your sons are adults, they're adults doing things, something the exact thing you never wanted them to do. And by the way, it's been 30 years. And by the way, the man you love has passed away. And it changed a lot. You know, the John she knew was a very quiet, unassuming, you know, great guy, loving father. That's not necessarily the John that ended up, you know, raising Sam and Dean. You know, he was this very driven, very focused guy, and I think she feels a real high level of guilt about that. Because if she hadn't made a mistake, if she hadn't died, none of this would have happened. So I think for her, it's about looking at that, but it's also about Sam and Dean. From their point of view, this isn't a mistake. You know, they're heroes. They saved the world, you know? So I think there is conflict there. I think everyone understands where everyone's coming from. That doesn't always make things easier.
I don't know if you can answer this, but how long are we getting married?
I would say Mary is certainly a presence for a while. but I would say she's not a one-episode character. Let's put it that way. That's something we're going to explore, I think, over the course of the season.
Will we be exploring what Mary's death at all, or is what happened, is that just done in the past and it's
exploring,
as fact?
Exploring her death in what way?
And like, will we be going back to look back at why she died, or getting her insight into her death at all?
I think we've talked a lot about kind of why she died and some of the time travel episodes and things like that. Yeah. I think the more interesting thing for us is what she was doing that we haven't seen. Mm-hmm. You know, the story's always been, once Mary married John and settled down, she stopped hunting. But we're going to find out maybe that's not the whole story. You know, there are going to be some pieces of her past, but that moment of death is kind of what she believes is, you know, the thing that's haunting her, obviously, going forward. Like, not only because of what happened to her in that moment and burning on the ceiling, but because of the aftermath and the ripple effects of that.
Flashbacks?
Yes.
I'm a big fan of the offbeat episodes, like Baby, the one with the imaginary friend last season. Are there any sort of standalone offbeat episodes?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've got something really cool coming up in episode 5, where it will be the triumphant or not so triumphant return of the Fool, who have decided to enact their master plan and bring back Hitler. And the way we describe our Hitler is as a psychotic Richard Simmons, so a little different than the standard portrayal, and I think Sam and Dean are going to fight Hitler. And I think that's opening up some interesting doors for us in terms of just doing some more crazy stuff.
I know you get this question a lot, but how long at this point can you say you see the show running? I mean, is it you know, are you proud of the fact that you could have, you know, the longest running show in the genre, you know, for the foreseeable future?
I mean, I think no one's ever going to catch Doctor Who, which I think the only thing ahead of us. So I don't think domestic we're already so far ahead of everybody. Yeah. I think for us it's less about the numbers and it's more about like, is it still interesting? And I think the nice thing about Supernatural, which you mentioned, is like it can go crazy, it can go serious, it can go emotional. You can tell a lot of different stories. And as long as we keep challenging ourselves as writers and producers, and we keep challenging the actors to do new things or get to greater depths, and our production crew is awesome to do, you know, new interesting things, which we're doing all the time. Like, I don't see an end in sight in terms of, for that reason. There may be it may come a time where there's a very organic end to the season, to this kind of very epic Tolstoy-like novel we've been telling over the course of many years. But I don't think necessarily, I certainly would have put a clock on it as of right now in season 12. It still feels like there's a lot of fresh snow for us, and a lot of things to kind of explore.
And you still plan one season at a time, right? You're not looking at next season options that could occur when you're developing this season?
No, I think you're kind of looking in terms of, you know, I would say that we don't go into every season going, okay, this is the last season.
Yeah.
You know, I think there is kind of a pre-existing, okay, when the last season comes around, we kind of have some ideas in terms of a direction, but we don't plan every season like this is the last one, because I think if you were building every season to a series finale, at some point that becomes, you have to keep diffusing it every single year. You're like, and this time Sam and Dina, next year guys, next year. You just keep it going. So we try to build to what I think are natural climaxes and things that could, in the event that's all coming to an end, could lead to the end. But we don't necessarily go in and say, okay, this is the last year. But we also don't go in and be like, okay, everybody, we got 5 years, let's slow play it. Like, we always want the best stuff, the fastest stuff, and all that. The strongest ideas we have. Yeah.
We know that the brothers sort of start out on, should I stop or should I ask really quickly?
Oh.
Okay, no, that's fine.
Cool, thank you.